All right, so go ahead and sit comfortably in your seat. If you can, sit forward a little so your back is straight. Rest your hands in your lap, your feet on the floor.
I'm breaking all the rules today.
That's all right. And go ahead and let your head rest on your neck. Tuck your chin down slightly. You can close your eyes all the way or close them halfway, whatever you feel most comfortable with. We'll begin with 3 deep breaths. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. In and breathing out. And then go ahead and let your breath just come naturally. If you seem to want to take long breaths, let your breath be long. If you want short breaths, let your breaths be short. But if you can, turn your attention to your breath. Actually, turn your attention to your entire body. You feel your chest rise and your lungs fill with air as you breathe in. Your chest fall as you exhale that breath. The in-breath, you feel the air feels cool as it goes through your nose. In just those few seconds in your body when you breathe out, that air has been warmed and your body's exchanged that oxygen that it needs and given back the carbon dioxide that it doesn't need. You feel your belly rise as you breathe in, fall as you breathe out. And just become aware of that. Belly rising, belly falling. You don't need to give a lot of thought to any of this. If you want, you can give a very simple labeling and think breathing in as you breathe in, breathing out as you breathe out. And they've given this name of mindfulness to this. I think it fits in some ways with how we're focused on our mind and thinking in this time and this place. And a big part of this practice is body practice and awareness of the body. We can practice awareness of thoughts. To a large degree, awareness is a function of the body as well. Your body is quite able to know what's going on with it. Just the simple fact that you're always aware with where our body is in space. With your eyes closed, you're able to tell that you're seated right now. You feel your feet on the floor. You feel the weight of your body bearing down on your hips and the back of your legs. You feel your spine. You feel that breath again entering that cool air in through your nostrils, into your lungs. And your belly falls and you exhale that warm air, empty your lungs, and feel that rhythm of the breath. In and out, in and out. And there are so many of those things that we don't need to pay attention to, really. We're aware of, but we don't need to stop and think, it's time to take another breath, as we do with so many other things. We might think, it's time to eat. And we feel we do that because we're hungry. But I think most of us, our minds have just become accustomed to the schedule, the habit we have: breakfast at 7, lunch at noon, dinner at 5:30. There are very many different ways you can do that. You could just pay attention to when your body's hungry. You could feel that hunger in your belly. That's really where it comes from. And people eat all kinds of different ways. So often, again, we're doing it, we're skipping breakfast because we think we need to lose some weight, or we don't have time to have breakfast before we go to work. It can be really interesting to just see what rhythm your body begins to follow. One of the best ways to notice that is if you ever go on a weekend at a cabin or a week at a cabin, there's no television. You're not looking at your watch all the time. You don't have your phone or games. And you might be surprised at what the pattern that your body falls into is so much different than what you're used to. You might think, I'm a night owl, I like to stay up till 12 or 1, and instead find you're going to sleep at 9 o'clock when the sun has gone down. And you're waking at 5 or 6 o'clock, feeling completely rested. And we can do that with this practice. We can do that pause that we learn to do here, where we stop for a moment and don't just depend on our thoughts, what we believe our schedule should be. We listen to our body. Is it asking us to sit down and take a few deep breaths? Is it telling us we're hungry and we need a snack? Is it saying we're thirsty and we're going to get a glass of water, not just go get a cup of coffee because we think we need to wake up more? Perhaps it's telling us we're tired. Lots of people take naps in the middle of the day. Some of us think we're so busy, we're so important. The things we do are so important that we can't stop to take a nap. There's so many different ways. Travel to, say, Mexico, and see where they take that long lunch. Their body knows it doesn't want to work from 12 to 2 in the absolute worst heat of the day. So they take a long lunch and may take a nap. They may just visit with friends or go home for a little while. Snuggle with their kids, stay in the shade where it's cool, and they go back out and work, sometimes still 7 to 8. Go down there and see people still working construction, building office buildings, working in the light at 8, 9 o'clock. And they're not doing it. If you saw somebody working here at 8 or 9 o'clock, you know they're probably being ordered to put in overtime. Which is, again, another way that not only do we ignore the messages of our body, but this culture seems to tell us to ignore them. To tell us we should work 8 days straight, 12, 14-hour days, and be upset about it. Instead, we can give ourselves sleep when we need it, and not necessarily force ourselves to bed if we're not sleepy. Again, as part of what the body needs sometimes, this practice can help if you're feeling tired and you just can't sleep. You think it's so hard to lie still and rest. But if you become aware of your body, if you feel yourself lying, the weight of your body, you're aware that you're lying down. You feel the warm blankets around you. And just because it's late at night or the middle of the night doesn't mean you have to think about things. You don't have to think about the day ahead. I know, especially when I was in a depression, I'd wake at 3 a.m. and my thought, it truly was, well, I'm awake now. What should I be worrying about? And it's quite something to realize. I don't need to worry about things just because it's 3 a.m. I could think pleasant things or think nothing at all. So just see how you can be aware of your body, give yourself over to your body, listen and follow what your body needs. The body has a lot of wisdom. It can let us know when we're hungry. It lets us know when we need to take faster breaths. Listening to that body can tell us when we're scared, when we're anxious, when we're happy, or when we're at peace. Just being aware of the speed and depth of our breath. Being aware of that energy that may be racing through our body. We were talking just a few minutes ago about bipolar disorder. A lot of people say that's really just a disorder of energy. Having too much energy and not knowing what to do with it. And if you've experienced depression, you may be aware it's not always about the blues. It's not always about fears or feelings of worthlessness, helplessness. Sometimes it can just be that you just feel exhausted all the time. That sense that you're walking underwater, that it's difficult to move and you move slowly. And of course, our natural reaction is to think we've got to fight that and speed up. Maybe for a little while we could give into it. Perhaps moving a little slower is what our body needs from us. And we can give it that. We can follow where our body leads. Give it sleep when it needs, give it food when it needs. And pay attention to the things that give us joy. Seek out laughter when that's what our body needs, or music when that's what we need to hear, or dancing, or exercise. So in this coming week, I'd like you to make an effort to think of this as awareness of the body and set the mind and your thoughts aside. You can let them go on. You may find they even get quieter and you don't need to work so hard at letting them chatter by themselves. Just give that attention over your body. Let it pause for a moment. Consider this a pause, a moment of rest for it. When you stop, you're just listening to it, letting it tell you what you need to hear. And see what it may tell you. Perhaps we can all come back and share one thing that we may have learned from letting the body pause and listening to what it tells us it needs or we need. So try that during the week. And for now, we'll take 3 deep breaths in and out, in, out, and in and out. And when you're ready, open your eyes. Be aware that this moment may have Put a smile on your face that you may feel more relaxed, that your body wants to move a little slower. You don't have to jump up and race out of here just because the clock says that our meeting is over. You can tarry a while. Go outside and stand and breathe in that cold air. Let your senses be aware too. You can probably smell that there's snow in the air, that will be coming tomorrow. And just let yourself notice all of it, feel all of it, listen to all of it. And with that, we'll stop.